Yes.
Yes, so let us speak without interruptions, unless there is a clear standing orders.
The least that any sane government would do is to give such homeowners a reasonable notice. Not a notice to eventually evict them, but a notice to allow them to come to some kind of agreement or settlement with whoever is laying claim on the land. Mr. Speaker, this land that is being claimed by the East Africa Portland Cement has a long history, has a very long history. And we know for sure that the reason why the government is in a hurry to evict these persons is because they want to put Portland Cement for sale. They want Portland Cement to be bought by these cartels. The cartels in Kenya Kwanza have lined up to buy Portland Cement, and therefore they want that the time they'll be buying it, they should buy it together with the land. The intention here is to clear this land of inhabitants, to clear this vast land of people who have settled on it, so that by the time they acquire, by the time they grab the Portland Cement, they can grab it together with the vast land. That is the issue. And I have to tell you today, Kenya Kwanza, that what you have done will go down in history as the cruelest thing that any government can ever do to its citizens. Mr. Speaker, you cannot treat Kenyans as wild animals. You cannot evict people when schools are about to start doing exams. Class 8 pupils, Form 4 students, Class 6 candidates are supposed to start doing the national exams in a matter of weeks, if not days. You cannot evict such people. Mr. Speaker, you cannot demolish churches, the houses of God, and yet you proclaim to be God-fearing people. What hypocrisy is this? What hypocrisy is this? You proclaim on one hand that you are God-fearing. Every Sunday you go out there masquerading as Christians, and yet you evict people, you demolish their churches, you demolish their schools. Mr. Speaker, this in
Honorable Wandai, your time is up. You have 2 minutes because you are a leader. Only because of that. And I'm only doing this.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
Let me say this, Honorable Wandai. Honorable Wandai, this is an adjournment motion. It was not timed. So based on interest, it can go up to 9. That is why I'm requesting members not to unduly intervene, because each member speaks for only 5 minutes. All of you can speaking anything, so long as nothing is out of order. So accommodate one another as much as possible. We have all the time for all members I see in the House. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, we are seeing now other busybodies taking cue from the Mavoko incident. We have heard that equally there is a possibility of people being evicted in Njiru. Is the member addressing me or the speaker? I'm addressing the speaker. But you can't, let me continue. Mr. Speaker, we cannot allow this culture of impunity to take root in this country under our watch. We are saying that Kenya Kwanza must be called out for getting involved in this kind of atrocities against helpless citizens of this country, who they promise to protect. If you cannot protect an innocent home dweller who has taken a loan from a bank, from a SACCO, to put up a home, who then will you protect? Is this government meant for the cartels, or is it meant for the whole country? Is this a government that is simply going to be serving the interests of the cartels in it, or is this a government that can be trusted to serve the interests of all citizens? We don't want to know who bought the land first. We don't want to know who owned the land first. We don't want to know how the land was acquired by.
Honorable Patrick Makau. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Majority.
Even before I speak, Honorable Speaker, even before I speak, may I urge my honorable colleagues that allow me, I bring in some perspective that will help all of us. In our language, we say the believed does not speak a lot. But today, about this land of Mavoko. And I urge Kenyans, we approach this issue with a lot of sobriety, no emotions, because it's going to address a lot of evils from all the agencies that are concerned with land dealings in this country. Mr. Speaker, I am the MP Mavoko, and I want to tell this House, I have institutional memory of that constituency. And not forgetting that this land in issue, I mean the land in question, Portland has its land. Portland has got many parcels of land. And the only parcel that is in question is LL 10424. So members, as we speak, let us not have a blanket condemnation of how many LL numbers we are addressing. The demolitions happened on LL number 10424. Honorable Speaker, members remember who are here on the 11th, during the 11th Parliament, that I brought a petition in this House requiring the Committee on Lands to have Portland surrender its mined land with letters which were signed by the board, and they agreed that they have had 2,000 acres that they have mined and they are ready to surrender to the local community. Honorable members, one thing we should understand is once land is surrendered, as per Article 67, it goes back to NLC, National Lands Commission, who in turn surrenders it to the local county government of that area. Then the local county government of that area decides the land use. The LL number I brought here was 8786/144, 145, and 146. And Mr. Speaker, we agreed with Portland, and it was agreed by even the then Committee of Lands, Department of Lands, led by Honorable Muro, that they were ready. We went ahead, NLC agreed, the then Interior Minister, Mr. Nkaiseri, agreed, and that was agreed that they're going to give out the land. Mr. Speaker, however, during that time, the LL 10464 was in existence. However, and I want members to note, this land in question was owned or was claimed by Portland and Aimima Lukenya. Aimima Lukenya had a title for that parcel of land summing to 4,298 acres. Mr. Speaker, we must ask ourselves, where did Portland get this land? I agree with speakers that this land belonged to the people of Machakos County before it was allocated to Portland. Now, there must have been people who are living there. These Aimima Lukenya claim that their grandparents were buried there and the ones who had that land. Mr. Speaker, what we should be asking ourselves is, since 2013, when the new government of Machakos came in place, they are the ones who started approving buildings. They were collecting rates from the same parcel of land. Mr. Speaker, today you know you cannot open a file in any county government without ownership documents. Mr. Speaker, and that's why I'm saying there is no way you can build in any municipal or city in this town without approvals from the county. Now, if since 2013 to 2023, the county government of Machakos has been approving these houses, at what point did Portland know that it was not their land? Number two, these were two entities competing for one land, Aimima Lukenya and Portland. Now, if this case went to court, for the court to determine who are the rightful owners of this land, Mr. Speaker, the owners of these houses had, and they claimed on national television that they went to banks using the same title, they were given loans, they were being used by county governments for approvals, they went for search, and they were coming out with the right title deed. Mr. Chairman, I condemn with the strongest terms possible the demolition.
Honorable Mavoko, because you are keeping to facts, not inflammatory statements, I'll give you 2 minutes. But wind up, because the
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So the big question is, Mr. Speaker, even as we speak here, the Minister of Lands must be held culpable. When did they issue 2 titles on 1 parcel of land? Why were the county governments approving these houses on the same title deed? Mr. Speaker, we know the government is the issuer of title deeds. They are the ones who verify. They're the ones who nullify. And Mr. Speaker, if you look at the title which has been given to the court belonging to Imalo Kenya, was issued 1980. The one of Portland was issued 2022 and 2023. Mr. Speaker, sometimes we must agree, and I have said it, and I'm saying it again. Had we had a dialogue with the various interested parties, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, this could not have happened. At least we should have saved those houses. And Mr. Speaker, those Kenyans are very innocent. Today, to build 10 by 10 is very expensive. Mr. Speaker, also, this is not an issue which should not be politicized. Mr. Speaker, I am the MP Mavoko. I represent pastors, MPs, thieves, and everybody. So for me to go and answer for a call of crime, Mr. Speaker, you should not associate me with that. Mr. Speaker, there are processes of buying land. If there is anybody who can point a finger at the MP Mavoko, let them point a finger, bring out trails and show anything. But Mr. Speaker, we must be alive to the fact that titles are issued by Ministry of Lands. They are verified by counties. Even Kenya Power had put power lines there. Water was put there. Where were they? Why are they making Kenyans suffer? Because of political differences, because of political divides. And I'm ashamed by members of parliament who come from Mukambani and they were not even in support of the community. Mr. Speaker, at one point, and I love Kenyans who go back sometimes. If it was Ishungwa, and I respect it. One time I saw him in Kikuyu saying, my people of Mavoko, my people of Mavoko should be respected. They should be...
Honorable Patrick Makau, your time is up. The majority leader proceed to make your contribution. You take precedence over everybody else in the house.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
These people making requests like Honorable Joyce Kamene will have to wait until the Honorable Majority Leader is done.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You know, Honorable Catherine Omanyo, you need to understand your constitution and understanding orders. It does not matter how long you've been in the house. When the majority leader and the minority leader come in, everything stops until they're done. Proceed, Honorable Ichung'wah.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I hope she is well advised. Honorable Speaker, let me first say the Honorable member from Mavoko had started very well, but has finished in a very unfortunate manner by attempting to disparage members of parliament who represent their people on the basis of their ethnicity, that those who are from Ukambani. It's rather unfortunate, and we should not make this adjournment motion to be an issue to do with ethnicity or indeed political affiliation. And that is why I'm here to debate on the adjournment motion. Honorable Speaker, I have listened keenly to what the two leaders, the leader of minority and the deputy, were saying, and I was listening to them from my office. And I'm rather perturbed, Honorable Speaker, that senior leaders like the leader of minority can say that they do not care whether or not there was a court order, that you do not care who owned the land, you do not care who bought the land first ahead of who. And he speaks about atrocities. Yet we have seen our colleagues in the minority, especially those who come from the ODM party, want to fashion ODM as a party that stands at the forefront of the fight against corruption. How then would you not care when public land is being grabbed? If there are people who are visiting atrocities on the people of Mavoko and anywhere else, it is land grabbers who are grabbing public land with impunity. Honorable Speaker, we must also bring to question the role of government officers in land grabbing.
when land was being grabbed from Portland Cement, because there is no question as to who owns the land. The land is owned by the East African Portland Cement Company. And even the Honorable Robert Mbui knows that. He also knows that there are leaders, current leaders and former leaders in the region, including former members of parliament, former county council chairmen, former councillors who grabbed this land and have sold the land to innocent buyers, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it is one thing to come and pontificate here and in political rallies and funerals on the fight against corruption, then come to this house and seek to defend corruption and land grabbing. If there is anybody visiting atrocities to the people of Mavoko, it is the leadership within Machakos County that has perpetuated the grabbing of public land, and a county government that continues to approve buildings on land that they know is not owned by the people who are seeking approval. How did they build houses that are approved by the county government of Machakos without requisite ownership documents, including a title deed? Those are the people who have visited atrocities on the people of Machakos and Mavoko. The governor Machakos County, former chairman of county councils in Mavoko, like the member from Mavoko, who is a former chairman of the county council, must be held to account. They must tell the people of Kenya how and when was this land grabbed, what were their roles, because you cannot hide behind politics, as I have seen the Honorable Robert Mbui attempting to do in raising issues about where people are being evicted. Robert Mbui were within this house when the Uhuru Kenyatta government evicted people from Mathare on the sewer.
The majority leader will have 2 additional minutes to conclude.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was saying the Honorable Robert Mbui sat with me in this house just like the Honorable Pio Andai and the member from Mavoko sat with me in this house in the last regime, under the handshake regime, when in the midst of the COVID pandemic, you mobilized tractors on a cold, rainy night to demolish houses for the people in Mathare and Waraka. And you never condemned, you are cheering. I do not stand here today to cheer the demolition of houses. I stand here today to tell you, you must never ever defend corruption. You must never defend land grabbing. You must be at the forefront as leaders in this house to defend the sanctity not just of a title deed, but also the sanctity of court orders. The leader of minority cannot say he does not care whether there is a court order or not. What will happen tomorrow, Honorable Speaker, if people invade the Honorable Pio's 2-acre farm in Ugunja, or his 20 acres, and and he gets a court order to evict them and he can't evict them? Government must be allowed to work and enforce court orders just like any other. Honorable Speaker, amongst the people I have heard in the recent past, you remember last year there was an incident where people invaded Uhuru Kenyatta's land, and I had said, Honorable Speaker, if you can protect me from this lady from Busia, with a penchant for shouting, that makes no sense to anybody.
Order.
Protect me from the lady. And you know, I once said something about her hair. Now, don't make me say something about your teeth.
Honorable Catherine Omanyo.
Majority Leader. Order. Honorable Catherine Omanyo. You talk to the House through the Speaker. And I've said each one of us will be heard in silence. The Majority Leader, you have 15 seconds to wind up.
Honorable Speaker, I was saying only recently, last year, when Uhuru Kenyatta's land was invaded, and I had issued a caution, Honorable Mwache reminds me it's this year, and I had issued a cautionary statement to Uhuru Kenyatta and his family. Honorable Speaker, you heard the other day the chairman of Mungiki asking his members who invaded Uhuru's farm and stole his goats or his sheep to return them, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, if we can defend, and I can stand to defend Uhuru Kenyatta's right to own land, we must equally defend East African Portland Cement's right to own land and hold its land peaceably without anybody defending those who have grabbed the land. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, let me say this. The leadership in Machakos County must come clean. It doesn't matter whether it's from pre-independence or after independence or from...
Honorable Makali Mulu.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me also start by also conveying my sympathies to the families who suffered the demolitions. Honorable Speaker, you know, it is a known fact that two wrongs don't make a right. And Honorable Speaker, if you look at the history of this country, demolitions have been very expensive to families who are involved. And I remember during the campaigns, Honorable Speaker, the Kenya Kwanza government, one of the things they used to armor our former president with was the issue of demolitions. I remember they did say very clearly that no Kenyans will suffer in the future after they take over the way demolitions were being done by the last regime. And this was basically because of the associated human rights issues when it comes to demolitions. Honorable Speaker, I've listened to the leaders in this house make their statements. And at times I wonder, do we really feel what the people who are really affected are feeling? Are we really representatives of the people? Because the question is, when I see my friend, Honorable Makau, making statements, Honorable Makau is the MP Mafoko, elected by everybody who votes in Mavoko, Honorable Speaker. And that means is the voice of that particular constituency when it comes to matters representation. And anytime he talks, we should see him that way. Honorable Speaker, we must lay this blame where it belongs. Honorable Speaker, the truth of the matter is, the custodian of title deeds in this country is the Minister of Lands. And there are people who know which land in this country belongs to who. And Honorable Speaker, I want to explain a scenario. And I want to be excused because these are some of the scenarios we must explain to put the points forward. In a situation where a woman gets pregnant, Honorable Speaker, it is known very well that even if you do what as a man, she can't conceive again before she delivers. Conceive again before she delivers. That's a fact. It's a biological fact. What I'm saying, Honorable Speaker, is if I have a title to a piece of land in this country, how come that there's a situation somebody else can have an access to a title to the same piece of land? We need to make it to that level, Honorable Speaker. A level whereby, once I have a title written Honorable Makali Mulu, no other Kenyan should have that title to the same piece of land, if people did their work properly. So the question is, I think time has come, Honorable Speaker, where us as leaders of this country, and I think, Honorable Speaker, every part of Kenya, every corner of Kenya is represented in this house. So, Honorable Speaker, when we make our statements, anytime we are discussing national issues, we need to bear in mind that the whole of Kenya is represented in this house. That's all I want to beg honorable members, that can we rise above our basic bipartisan approach to issues, matters political parties. The people of Mavoko, and I want to tell you for sure, very few Kambas had the houses demolished in that place.
It is Kenyans who suffered. And these Kenyans come from all this part of country. It is Kenyans who suffered because they bought land. Yesterday, we did see, Honorable Speaker, the issue of Krema land in Rwai. People have built, they have been that land for over 10 years, 15 years, and then one day you are being told that title belongs to Limba family. And you also have your own title. So to me, I think, majority leader, what I want to plead with you, I think it's not for this government only. I think we can do a review of what has happened in the past, and we establish who are the original title owners of land. And once we establish that, majority leaders move to the future, we make sure that never again in the history of Kenya we'll have one piece of land having more than one title. If we go that way, we'll be helping Kenyans, and this country will be on the right direction. With those many remarks, I submit, Honorable Speaker, and I want us to help the people of Mavoko. Those who have lost their houses, they must be.
By Honorable Moses Kirima to make his contributions.
First and foremost is that I pass my sympathy out to the people of Mavoko. Honestly, it's very sympathetic. It's a situation which every Kenyan should understand, especially the people who have been surviving on mager earnings. Because to put up a house to an extent of which I saw the kind of buildings which were being demolished, it was a sympathetic situation. But now, Mr. Speaker, sir, we must come to the point who are responsible, who made those Kenyans to suffer the way they have really suffered. We cannot just point fingers to a few, because by the time one comes to own land in Kenya, there is a process. I've been an advocate for quite a period, and I know very well that one, you must have an agreement to possess a piece of land. When we have vendors and the purchasers, there must be an exchange of documents. Now, who used to own these documents without blaming or pointing fingers to who is who? It's true that Kenya is full of cartels. And in one or the other, there has been duplication of titles if you go to the land registries, whereby you find a party as an original title, and then the others who come through other methods and they end up having other different titles. And now, if you are not careful enough, you are going to buy a duplicate title, and you are going to be a sufferer. So we cannot say that these owners of these houses be compensated, because the first question will come, by who? To me, I'm saying that those vendors who sold these pieces of land, because there must be agreements. Where they came from, they must be scrutinized. And then whoever sold the land, if he is in this house or not, if he has returned or not, he must be capable as it is in the Constitution. He must be liable. He must compensate those people who have lost, because they have lost their lifetime earnings. One, for a title deed, or for a plan to be approved by a county government, you must produce a title deed. But still, let's not forget, there can be undue influence whereby we make calls to the people who are approving this, who are approving the plan of the BQs. And when we make calls as an MP or anybody else who is of influence, I tell you, approval will be there. Then you will be promising that status will fall. So what we are saying is that court orders must be obeyed in one or the other, because without court orders being obeyed, I tell you, we are going to be in anarchy. This is not the first or the last case which this house is going to hear. We have a similar case in KU, whereby there is a Kama area. It's invaded by very rich people. It has been, because they have been promised that they are going to be purchased, or there will be negotiations. Even this area, of which the court is here, Mr. Speaker, you said that there will be no point of order. If Kama, if majority has a house there, I guarantee him is going to face the same problem. But what I'm saying is that, Mr. Speaker, sir, no, I'm not intending. I don't want to be informed. What I'm saying is that, like this Kerema issue, if the family of Kerema is not willing to be talking with those squatters who are there, the court orders are to be obeyed in despite of the consequences. So what I am saying is that the court orders are going to be, we must respect the court. We must respect the law as it is. But I don't want to be informed, and the speaker said that there will be no court, point of order. So, Mr. Speaker, what I'm saying is that sympathy.
Order, Honorable Karima. Do you want to be informed?
No, I'm not interested. No, because I know.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I was seeking to guide my brother, Honorable Kirima, and he said he doesn't desire to be informed, and he is completely out of order. Because the debate before us is the land in Mavoko, not KU and Kamai. Because the KU case, Honorable Speaker, unlike this East African Portland case, is a case where KU has already agreed with the squatters that they will get a share of the land and they move away from the rest of the land. Therefore, it is extremely out of order for the member, the honorable member, to be misleading the House and indeed the country, because that is what makes everybody feel that there is unfairness. Because even the people of Mavoko, Honorable Speaker, if they are able to sit and negotiate with this East African Portland as squatters, as genuine squatters to get a part of the land, it has happened. Honorable Speaker, I can tell you, I have bought land myself using those share certificates.
Are you still on a point of order?
Now, Honorable Speaker, just to clarify, I have bought land in Nairobi on a certificate, but I knew the certificate is not a title, doesn't confer ownership to me. We went and negotiated with the